Are you tired of rendering full animations in Blender when you only need specific frames? Is your render folder a complete mess full of mixed versions and overwritten files? Today, I'm going to show you Specific Frame Render Manager, a professional Blender add-on designed to make your rendering process faster, smarter, and fully organized. Specific Frame Render Manager gives you total control over what frames get rendered, which cameras are used, and how your files are named and organized. First, go to the Output Properties tab in Blender. From the Standard Settings panel, set your desired resolution, frame rate, and file format. After installing the add-on, you can find it in the same tab. Scroll down and look for the Specific Frame Render Manager drop-down menu. Let's start with Output and Path Management. First, choose the Custom Output path. This is where your files will be saved. It's required, so you always know exactly where your renders are going. Next, we have the version folder system. Every time you start a render, the add-on creates a new version folder automatically, like V001, V002, and so on. You can change the prefix if you want. The important thing is that your previous renders will never be overwritten. Each render stays safely stored and organized. There's also Skip Existing Frames. If your render stops for any reason, you can enable this option, and the add-on will only render the frames that are missing. It won't re-render the ones that are already finished. This saves a lot of time, especially for long animations. Now let's talk about frame selection, which is the main feature of this add-on. The frame list is required. This is where you type the frames you want to render. It's very important to separate each value with commas. For example, 1,3. If you want to render a range, you use a dash, like 5-7, 10-12, and you can combine both formats together. Commas separate different entries, and the dash defines a range. This gives you full and precise control over exactly what gets rendered. Next are the render modes. In all mode, it renders every frame you wrote in the list. In even mode, it only renders the even numbers. In odd mode, it only renders the odd numbers. In step mode, it renders every X number of frames based on the value you choose. For example, if you set step to 3, it renders every third frame from your list. This is great for quick previews, test renders, experimental animations, or even stylized cartoon effects, where you don't want every single frame rendered. Now let's move to naming and sequence, one of the most powerful parts of the add-on. With continuous numbering enabled, the add-on ignores the original frame numbers and renames the files in a clean, sequential order such as 1, 2, 3, 4. This is especially useful when you need continuous numbering, for example, if you render random frames or use step rendering. The Start Index lets you choose the number where the sequence begins. For example, you can start at 300 if your workflow requires that. The naming options let you build your file name exactly how you want. First, let's check the preview system, which shows you exactly how your final file name will look before you start rendering. You can include the blend file name, scene name, view layer name, camera name, or add your own custom text at the beginning or end. You can also automatically add the current date and time. Zero padding lets you choose how many digits your frame numbers use, like 1, 01, 0001, etc. Now let's talk about camera controls. In active camera mode, it renders using only the camera that is currently active. In all cameras mode, it renders the same frames using every camera in the scene. This is very useful if you have multiple angles. You can also choose specific cameras and manually select which ones you want to use. If you enable folder per camera, the add-on creates a separate folder for each camera automatically. This keeps everything clean and organized. During rendering, you'll see a progress bar with the percentage, the current frame number, how long the last frame took, and an estimate of the remaining time. You can press Escape to cancel the render. Specific Frame Render Manager turns a manual and sometimes messy process into a clean and organized workflow.